Hello everyone. If you've been watching my videos, you're very familiar with this crazy looking windshield. From the perspective of the rider, it looks ridiculous, but from the front it doesn't look too bad. One of the things that's special about this windshield is the mount underneath of this. It is no longer a stock mount. The problem with Texas is when you get out in the open, you can experience 100-mile-an-hour headwinds, and I mean that, triple-digit headwinds. They're very, very intense. So with such speeds, you can't use the stock mounts. They will just simply rip free with a tall windshield like this. So you need something special. You need to put metal top hats underneath of this, and I'm going to show you what I've done here to make that special. And then I'm going to glue them in and make them permanent, because right now they're just stuck in there with modeling clay. Okay, this is what this looks like underneath. It doesn't look fantastic. There's some modeling clay sticking out there that was holding in the top hats. But all the parts are still there, and I can remove them and then glue them in and let the glue dry. When you're working with complex connections, strangely shaped mounts where you can't reach underneath, a little modeling clay and some duct tape, as you know, that's a great solution for holding things in place while you can get the threads started. That was my solution anyway. I could have used construction glue, something that cures fast, but this is my way of doing things. Modeling clay and duct tape. Now this is really stuck into that corner. I'm going to try and push it through with my finger. This one the same way. Maybe I need to get a screwdriver back in there to get that, but I'm going to try and peel it out with my finger, because it's just plasticine clay. Looks like I'm going to have to push it out with a screwdriver because that's so tight in that corner. Too tight of a space. Yeah, so you gotta work that out of that corner so you can get at it. Same with this one. You just have to get the angle pick in there and work it out of there without screwing up the threads. There it goes. Again. The next step is to clean out whatever's left in the holes there. There's some modeling clay in there. You can get at it with a little alcohol. The funny thing about modeling clay is it melts when it's warm enough, or when you hit it with a little tetrachloroethylene or electrical parts cleaner, and that cleans that out really good. So then you can get some real glue in there and really put something in there that's going to stay. 4 metal top hats that I installed using the modeling clay in the position that they would be in, facing forward, which is that way. So you can see the shape that is ground off there to make it into the corners. This one just has one flat side ground off. And then I took the grinder and trimmed them down a little bit so that the height is correct. And that worked. So now we got to get rid of the rest of the modeling clay so we can glue these in. These parts are ready to install. I'm just going to push them in from behind, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is what the nut looks like when it's pushed in from behind. What you want to do is just wipe off the excess. Because it's silicone, it's pretty easy. Keep that clean, and then you want to install the top ones. Just make sure you don't put it in the wrong hole. So try and get the top one in, not the bottom. So try to line up the shot. Do this one, not that one. So this one corresponds with that one. So this is a real tricky part to get this little top hat up underneath that hole. So my solution is to take a wire and feed it up through the hole and pull the top hat up into place and spin it so that it's in the right position. And I'm going to do this off camera. The great thing about using a silicone adhesive is it's very easy to clean up with the modeling clay. If you get any in the threads, you can always just take that out. Using the wire method to feed that up through is really nice because you can just pull it through and then yank the wire out when you're done, and the metal part's in position. The magical part about silicone adhesive is you can work with it in the sun and just remove the excess with simple tools, and it comes off pretty clean without too much trouble. Just be patient, and you'll get that pretty clean. And now that's ready to be remounted. I'm going to put a metal crossbar across the top to angle the windshield up this way and finish up. The next step is to spin the bolts in once to make sure that the threads are clean. I've had problems where I've tried to get the threads to go and they would not go. So there might be metal in there or glue. But once you spin them all the way in and all the way back out, you can put on the windshield and then put them down again, and they'll go down pretty cleanly. One of the big problems with this is once you get it the way you like it, you might try and push on a bolt with a screwdriver and the top hat nut will fall in from behind. So there is a solution for that, and that is several layers of duct tape behind the mount, and that'll allow you to get enough spin on that to get that going and lock it down tight. I made a few adjustments to how the tape is holding on the metal bar. All this does is tilt the windshield this way. I'm going to take some putty or clay, and I'm going to push it all the way up behind this nut into that corner. You can see that that nut still wants to move a little bit. So what I'm going to do is really lock that in by pushing this all the way up in there. You can see how that's moving. I've got a mosquito who's hunting me right now. Texas mosquitoes are the worst. Alright, so we're going to push that all the way up there with my finger to get that in there as tight as possible. Same thing with this one. I'm going to use my longest finger. I'm just going to shove that putty up in there and lock that in place. Now I'm going to repeat that with another blob of putty so that that's in there firmly, and then I can put the windshield on and screw it down. Okay, I've shoved another blob of putty up there, and I'm really pushing that really hard to make sure that that will stay, because if I start screwing that down and that moves, I won't be able to get at that one. This one I can get at from behind the windshield. And this one I cannot. It's too high and up and behind. So I'm just going to check by unscrewing the screws and feel the top hat behind. The glue has yet to dry. And if the top hat doesn't move, then we're ready to screw that back in. I want to add a little bit of lubricant to that before I do that. Wow. That one's moving, so what I want to do is I want to get some more tape and lock that one down. So that one failed. Add more tape. Hey. In the home stretch here, one of the facts about this is the threads of the nuts are never quite at the angles you think they're at. So what you need to do is you need to carefully work each one in. I made these little rubber spacers here. I don't know if you can see those. So that when this pinches down, it's at the right angle. It'll just spin itself in correctly. This particular bolt is a little tricky, but the duct tape is holding it in place. And as long as it spins the windshield down into position, and I can lock that down, it's good. And it looks like I've got both of them in there. And it looks like that angle is right. The short side should be up and to the right there, or up and to the left on the other side. And as I spin that down, you can see it's squishing into that. Same for that one, so that one's squished in there. And I think that that's going to work just fine and give that a little bit of give. So we're gonna see how that works. That might be too much give. I might need to take that rubber spacer out, but that's not bad. So I'm gonna give you another view. That's the give the way it is now. And I might want to try and tighten that down a little bit more. That might be too much give. That's too much shaking for 100 miles an hour. So I might have to make some adjustments to lock that down better. Looks like a couple more turns with the screwdriver was enough to get that tight enough so that if that's moving, you know, that's the whole assembly giving. So I think that that's going to be really good for speed. The next thing is to make some changes here. I'm going to add a few more layers of duct tape up here. It's actually called Gorilla Tape. This is my chin guard. So if I hit with my face or my chin, I don't, you know, go through my eye socket or something. That's going to be it for that. I'm going to add some more tape and I'm going to be done. So thank you for watching.